Hey guys, welcome to the first video that you guys get to get. Not my choice, but hey, it is better than nothing. What you see in front of you is the standard form equation for a circle. And in case you didn't know, we are doing circles. Hopefully you read the thing that I told you to read first, and you know that you have the notes already in front of you. So what you're going to see on the video is a little bit different than what you have in the notes, except for, of course, this part right here. So the standard form of a circle is x minus h the quantity squared plus y minus k the quantity squared equals r squared. Notice that there is a minus sign in front of the h and a minus sign in front of the k. If a minus sign is there, that means that the center, the h and the k are positive. If there's a plus sign there, that means your h and k are negative. So if you have minus some number h, then you have a positive x value for the center of your circle. If you have a minus value of k, or if you have minus k in the equation, you have a positive value of the y value of the center of the circle. And remember that r is squared in the standard form of the circle, which means that the radius is actually squared. So you have to take the square root of that in the standard form to get the radius. Here are 3 example problems. Please use the play pause it and tell me exactly what the center and the radius are for all 3 of these particular problems. Okay, now that you've done that, let's go backwards. I have given you the center and the radius of 3 different problems, and I would like you to give me the equation of all 3 of these. Again, use the interactive play pause it to answer that question. So what you have next in your notes, and what I want to go over with you now, is how to get the equation in standard form given in something that looks like a mess like this. Okay, and what you're going to have to do is something called completing the square. For some reason, students get really confused when they complete the square. It's really not that bad at all. Just break it down into its pieces, parts, and we'll go through it. The first thing you always want to do is whatever the constant is, in this case it's 16, you want to move it to the right by either subtracting it from both sides or adding it from both sides, whatever the case may be. In this case, it says plus 16, so I want to do the opposite, which is minus 16. So here is what you get after doing that. Notice that I have done a couple things. First, I moved the 16 over to the right-hand side, and it is now negative 16. Also, I have left some spaces behind the pardon me, behind the x's and the y's so that we can do something with that. All right, so next what we want to do is we want to take the middle coefficient, which is the value that's next to the x and next to the plain old y. We don't want to do anything with the squares. We just want plain old x and plain old y. So we want to take half of that middle coefficient, okay? So for negative 6, because I have a minus sign in front, the negative 6, half of negative 6 is negative 3. So I'm going to write that down up here in the corner. And I'm going to do the same thing for my 8y. Well, this is a positive 8 because it says plus 8y, so half of positive 8 is 4. So I'm going to write down 4. You'll see why that's important later. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to square that number that I just figured out. So I took half of this middle coefficient. Half of this negative 6 was negative 3. I'm going to square negative 3. Well, I hope you all realize that negative 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to add that square onto both sides, because remember, this is still an equation. So I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9. And over on the right-hand side, I now have negative 16 plus 9. Okay. Half of that 8 was 4. 4 squared is 16, so I'm going to add 16 to both sides. So I've got plus y squared plus 8y plus that 16. Okay. If I added 16 here, I have to add 16 over here, so I have to add plus 16. Okay. Now, hopefully from algebra, you recognize that these are two perfect square trinomials that I have written. X squared minus 6x plus 9 and y squared plus 8y plus 16 are perfect square trinomials. So what we're going to do is we are going to factor them. And because they are perfect square trinomials, they factor into a perfect square. And what's really nice is these little numbers that you wrote down up here, this -3 and this +4, that's what it factors into. So it's really very straightforward to factor this. It's just simply x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared. And of course I added this over here and I ended up with 9. Now look at what we have, guys. We have standard form for a circle. We have x minus 3, y plus 4, and 9. What I would like you to do is answer the question, what is the center of this circle and what is the radius of this circle? Okay, so something else that we have that the equation of a circle is good for is just like any other equation. You can prove whether a point lies in the circle by seeing if it makes the equation true. So, or it lies on the circle by seeing if it makes the equation true. So we are wondering, does the point 4, -4, does that lie on the circle that has a center at 1, 0 and contains the point 1, 5? Well, you may be saying, well, Mr. Drum, that we're missing some things. What I would strongly suggest is you draw a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture of this, and then I'm going to pick up with the video. So here I have my circle. Notice that I have figured out that the radius of the circle is indeed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got the point 1, 0, the point 1, 5, so the radius has to be 5. So the radius equals 5. So my equation is going to be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 5 squared. Well, now I just plug my point in and see if it makes it a true statement. So I have 4 minus 1 squared plus -4 minus 0 squared. Does that equal 5 squared? Well, 4 minus 1, that is 3 squared. And -4 minus 0 is -4 squared. Does that equal 5 squared? Well, 3 squared is 9, plus -4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. And if you remember from trig, a 3, 4, 5 triangle, you know that this is true. So we do have, so 25 does indeed equal 25. So the point 4, -4, which would be somewhere over here, does indeed lie on the circle. That's all there is to it. Is if this is a true statement, then it lies on the circle. If it's a false statement, then it doesn't. Alright guys, I think that might be, it's a short video today. You know, there's probably a lot more that I can cover, but I don't want to overwhelm it, and I want to make sure that this video works right. So anyway, have a good day. Make sure that you do the homework assignment. Make sure you start doing your ALEKS if you get everything done. And I'm hoping I'll see you sometime this week. Thanks, guys. Bye.